Okay, I have my second car that I'm going to weather. That's SDWX 9822. Take it out of the box here. Again, I'm going to spin it around, give it a quick visual inspection. Okay, it generally looks fine. About the same as the other car. And I'll get ready to take the trucks off the body. Alright, it's all ready for a wash. Get it all cleaned up and ready for the weathering. Like the first car I weathered in video number 2, I will wash SDWX 9822 with warm, soapy water. First the car body and then the new Microtrains trucks and metal wheels. One thing I noticed after getting the body rinsed and dried was that the new paint on the car body tended to bead some. This was kind of an oh no moment, but I discovered after a few applications of cement wash that beading was no longer a problem. Here I'm starting the weathering on new trucks and wheels. Again, I found the weathering paints and washes didn't flow well initially, but after a couple applications I could place the weathering media where I wanted without beading. I found the burnt umber to be a great base for the following applications of cement and rust wash. Okay, I've started to apply the cement wash to the car body. Like my previous video, I'll post a page toward the end that shows you how I created this wash. If you look carefully, you may see some beading of the wash on the car body, but this is not a problem as more layers are applied. Another application of cement wash to build upon the first layer. This is where the wash really starts to adhere uniformly to the car body and the results start to look like a fine film of dust. Before I start the presentation of the next clip, I want to talk a little bit about it. At one time in the contest, I was debating on whether or not to apply graffiti to either of my contest entries. I wasn't big on the use of decals and believed that my freehand skills were too poor to do a good job. I'm joking a little bit, but over the past several years, my handwriting coordination and motor skills have degraded to the point where if I trace a line with a pencil, the trace looks like a seismograph during a mild earthquake. Nevertheless, I decided to try to give it a try and see if I could pull it off. With a scrap piece of styrene that was painted, I tried several different methods to apply graffiti to see what would work best. I found one, and I'm not sure it was the best, but I dove in head first with reckless abandon. I thought for some time what I wanted to put on the side of the car for graffiti, but once I got it decided, I figured it would work okay. I chose the word hope, or more importantly the Spanish word for hope, esperanza. I was assuming the car would cross international borders from time to time, and that it got tagged where the primary language was Spanish. In this case, hope is for mankind. Each of us has hopes and dreams for ourselves, our families, our friends, communities, and globally. While the graffiti was drying, it was time to apply the cement wash to the trucks and wheel set. Nothing really new here, just getting the wash made and then an application with the brush. Now that the graffiti has dried, it's time to apply some rust wash. Like I mentioned, my hand motor control isn't what it used to be, so I practice on a scrap piece of painted styrene to get a reasonably straight line. At this point, everything is dried overnight, and I will start the application of cement wash over the rust-streaking graffiti. I want this to be a slow process of building light layer upon light layer to build a uniform appearance of dust over the entire car. Since you've seen a lot of this wash application already, I will skip some of these steps. I'm at the point where I'll add some texture to the top of the car for the visual effect of product overflow. I will use the same process I did in the last video, but add a bit more chalk to increase the solids in the mix. Next, I'm making an application of the rust wash to the trucks and wheels. There's not a lot to discuss in this operation. I'm simply applying the Vallejo rust wash with a number 2 brush to all the appropriate surfaces and the ones that'll be visible. Here you see me applying a bit of weathering powder to the lower ladder rungs and car body. I've reached the point for final assembly. I've already installed the wheels into the trucks off camera. This was another learning and growing experience for me, and fortunately, I didn't need to go through another R&D session with the application of the cement wash on this car. But I had an interesting time with the freehand graffiti. I hope that you're able to follow the process and pick up a few things you can use in your own weathering projects.